Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome here for race number 9 of the 4th season of the NRSL. I said that wrong, didn't I? Yes, I did. The NRSL. Man, sorry, I stayed up till 2 o'clock this morning, and so I'm not completely with it here. But we're getting ready to go racing for our 9th race, our next to last race of the season here in the Reese's Rally Car Series. This is our final Power Stage race as well, and I'll explain that in just a moment. And we really, in the last couple of weeks, Charlotte Roval and last week at Montreal, it's definitely, let's put it this way, brought more people mathematically into the hunt for this championship than there were when we left our last Power Stage race at Watkins Glen. It was looking like a runaway for Wade Brummer, and now we've got Jonathan Zoerlein, we've got Mitchell Collins, we've got Jesse Turner, Levi McIntire, Adam Garcia, Carson Gum, and last week's winner, now a two-time winner along with Wade Brummer, Derek Hamill. They are all coming into this race mathematically eligible, leaving today's race with the points lead. And so we're going to have to keep tabs on that during the course of this race. I don't really see very many of those drivers I just mentioned starting up near the front. I think Levi McIntire might be starting up inside of the top 10, but that's about it. So we're going to have to see what happens during the course of this race and see if some drivers that are mathematically eligible to find themselves with the points lead, if they'll be able to capitalize and do that here today at Island Rally. J Gardner lines up on the pole for this race. He will start alongside of J Jefferson. Jefferson, it was like was going to have a really good run last week, and he finished, I don't exactly remember where, I can find that out. But let's go down quickly and get the command, and then I'll give you what the point scenario looks like.
Drivers, start your engines!
So the points coming into this race are as follows. Wade Brummer is still the points leader. He has only 2 points over Jonathan Zoerlein. He has 7 points over last week's two-time winner, Derek Hamill. 9 points over Mitchell Collins. 15 points over Jesse Turner, our winner from Charlotte Roval a couple of weeks ago. Levi McIntire is 22 points back. Adam Garcia, he is 25 points back, and also 25 points back is Carson Gum. Most points a driver can get today is 30 points. Since it is a power stage race, the race winner will get 5 extra bonus points, second will get 4 extra bonus points, third will get 3 extra bonus points, fourth will get 2 extra bonus points, and fifth will get 1 extra bonus point. Top 10 only get points in this race, so drivers that are just outside that could find themselves at least somewhat close if they won here today include drivers like R Acosta, Carter Friesen, Quentin Moore, J Gardner, the pole sitter, Diego Yepez, and Dylan Young, and maybe even Austin LaPlante and Jordan Lopez. But I think they would really have to win today to find themselves mathematically in the hunt for the championship next week at the season finale at Baja Rally. Here at Island Rally, though, it's going to be a wild one. If you guys didn't tune into the Super Stadium Truck Series that we had here about a month and a half ago, this track's got a couple of trouble spots, and we're going to have to see if these drivers can make it through safely, or will that particular turn that we saw be an issue before, will it be an issue today? Green flags in the air, we're underway here at Island Rally. Let's see who's going to survive here today. Looks like they're all going to make it through this corner safely. Couple cars taking the turn wide as J Gardner gets out for the lead. Fast approaching that corner I was talking about. Let's see if these drivers traverse it safely. Here we go. Gardner's going to run it wide. Fan through the field, make sure all these drivers are okay. Okay, looks like with the GNS physics, things are a little bit calmer through this corner than it was with the CTS physics. And Jesse Turner back here along with Jonathan Zoerlein, they are both at the tail end of the field, so either they ran wide in a corner or something, and both of them running now in 36th and 37th. That's not good, because remember, as mentioned, those are 2 drivers that came into this race mathematically eligible to take over the point standings. Jonathan Zoerlein was 2 points back, and Turner was 15 points back. So both of them really need to hope that some drivers have some issues here, or maybe they can get some track position via pit strategy. Johnny Gardner's going to complete the first lap. We have a couple cars on pit road. Zach Rogers in the 15, Benny Watson in the 77. It's a couple of spots that Turner and Zoerlein will pick up on track. They need a lot more help than that. Looks like Turner has caught up to some race cars there. Cucalon, K Mathews, and others. As you see there, Watson and Rogers on pit road. Oh, there's another car on pit road, and you can't really see him, but that's Julius Anderson. Some problems for him as his teammate Johnny Gardner continues to lead the way. Just had a change for second. Levi McIntire moves into the runner-up spot. Shelton into third. What happened to Jefferson? Oh, Jefferson fell all the way back here. There's Jordan Lopez in the 24. He's got a shot to mathematically be eligible for the championship next week, but I think he needs a win. Adam Garcia gained 14 spots in the standings after a runner-up finish in Montreal last week. Comes into this race 25 points back with, I think, like a third or a fourth place finish. He could be mathematically eligible to take the championship next week. A lot of it really depends on where other drivers way up there in the point standings end up finishing, as Cole Baker is going to move into, I think that is fourth, yep. Battling there with Ryan Acosta and James Shelly. Right now, for drivers like Acosta, Friesen, Moore, Gardner, Yepez, Young, Lopez, LaPlante, all those guys, they really need some of your top guns up in the point standings to have poor performances here today, as we've got a battle going on for second here between McIntire and Shelton. Namely, they need Wade Brummer, Jonathan Zoerlein, Derek Hamill, Mitchell Collins, and Jesse Turner really to not finish inside the top 10. McIntire and Shelton battling side by side here. Neither one of these drivers can really afford to wreck each other. Shelton coming into this race 18th in points, 41 points back. If she were to win, she could close the gap up in the points and maybe still be mathematically eligible next week. What these drivers' goal is they want to go into a race, the season finale, no more than 25 points back from the points leader. If they are 25 points or less behind the points leader when we leave here today, they are mathematically in the hunt for the championship. Right now, Levi McIntire, who came into this race 22 points back, now running in the third position behind Shelton. Right now, he would gain 15 points for finishing in third, plus he would get 3 bonus points for the stage race that we have today. So that's 18 points he would make up. So he would be about 4 points back from Wade Brummer. Let's go back and try and find some of our top 5 in the point standings. We already know Jesse Turner's had some issues early on in this race. So let's try and find Collins, Hamill, Zoerlein, and Brummer. There is Brummer. Last time by, he was scored in the 17th position. Derek Hamill just in front of him in 16th. Trying to find Mitchell Collins. And there's Collins. Last time by, scored in 27th. Side-by-side battle right now with Matthew Rodriguez. Let's see if Jonathan Zoerlein or Jesse Turner have made up any ground since we last saw them. Carson Gumsway back here in 31st. Zoerlein just made a pit stop, so he's back in 33rd. Brooke Allen's on pit road, and there's Jesse Turner. He was last time by, scored in 34th. So both those drivers right now not exactly running their best. So they're hoping that Wade Brummer doesn't finish up inside the top 10, or else they're going to lose some ground to him. Right now, from the running order, it doesn't look like anybody in the top 5 in points are running inside the top 10 in the running order right now. So Levi McIntire's got a good chance currently to be able to move himself into contention for the championship next week. There's a couple of drivers just on the outside of the top 10 looking in. Adam Garcia right now in 11th. So I would watch for him to try and break up into the top 10. And there is Derek Hamill in that 12th position. Wade Brummer back there in 13th. So they've got a shot to get up here in the top 10. They're close. But remember, they have to finish in the top 5 to get those extra bonus points, stage points. James Shelly had a good run last week, I think. Oh no, I'm thinking of Charlotte Roble. Never mind. Last week was not a good run for James Shelly. He is 44 points back, 43 points back coming into this race. I mean, to be fair, if you think about the fact that 30 points are on the line here for these drivers, and they have to be 25 points back from the points leader going into the season finale, you look back and drivers that are even 55 points back coming into this race still have a shot if they win. Would include drivers like Sebastian Cucalon, Jessica Shelton, Cole Baker, Brooke Allen, Julius Anderson, Shelly, Mathews, Rodriguez, Dollerton, Juan Garcia, Ryan Brommer, Zach Winkle, J Jefferson, Patrick Smith, Cole Deaver, Dylan Poteet, T Wright. So, you know, nobody's season is over just yet. That's the importance of these power stage races. And we're looking at J Gardner here right now. Gardner comes into this race 33 points back. Right now, he would be in line to get 30 points, which would put him, according to the live point standings, 3 points back from Wade Brummer heading into the season finale. I mean, it's just so important to win these power stage races because they really can change your season. Right now, Gardner enjoying just a little under 2-second lead over Jessica Shelton. Shelton is another driver who, if she wins today, would be back in the hunt for the championship. She would be roughly about 11 points out of the top position in the standings heading to next week. And Levi McIntire, if he were to win today, he would probably take the points lead over heading into the season finale next week, because he's only 22 points back from Wade Brummer. Let's actually drop back and see if Garcia has been able to crack the top 10. Not yet. Derek Hamill, Wade Brummer right there. They're all setting their sights on Chris Dollerton in the 33. And right now he's in that critical 10th position. Dylan Poteet made the pass on him as Alexander Rose coming to pit road. That's from the 6th position. I don't know if that's a regularly scheduled stop or not, but it's important because it now would put this as the battle for the 10th spot between Hamill and Garcia. Alexander Rowe pitting with about 10 laps into the segment, and Adam Garcia messed up that corner. Got off into the sand. You lose so much momentum. It's going to drop him back to about the 14th position, and now he's under fire from Cole Deaver for that spot. M McIntire running wide through that corner as Jordan Lopez making a pass on Chris Dollerton. And I believe was for 8th. Dollerton trying to fight back, and there's Derek Hamill. Hamill last week becoming the second two-time winner this season after one of the most chaotic final few moments I've ever seen in an endurance race in Montreal. We thought it was going to be K Mathews winning the race. We thought it was going to be J Zoerlein winning the race. We thought Shelton might win the race. We thought Quentin Moore might win the race. And then in the end, it ended up coming down to Derek Hamill cycling around on that last lap and picking up the victory. Hamill under fire here from Jordan Lopez as Jessica Shelton pits from the 2nd position. This says to me these are regularly scheduled stops for these drivers. So we're probably going to see a number of our leaders coming in the next couple of moments. And that's interesting that they're pitting now, because it makes me wonder if they're going to have to pit at least one more time before the session's complete, because we've got less than 20 minutes left. We're about to be at 19 minutes to go in the session, and they're already making pit stops. So are they short pitting and going to run out the rest of the race, or are they coming to pit road for the first of 2 times that they'll have to pit? Ryan Acosta running down Levi McIntire. Acosta comes into this race 9th in points. Right now, he would be situated to get 18 points here today, so he would currently be sitting 13 points back from the points lead. Cole Baker, good run for him right now in 4th. He's 42 points back. J Shelly now in 5th, Poteet in 6th, Dollerton 7th, Hamill up there in 8th now with Lopez in 9th, and Wade Brummer. First time in about 3 weeks we've seen him up inside the top 10. Last time I think we'd seen him in the top 10 was back when he took that checkered flag at Watkins Glen, as Chris Dollerton is going to come to pit road. Whoa! Wade Brummer messing up that jump just at least a little bit, getting off course. Kept momentum up pretty good though. Oh, and that's J Gardner on pit road, so the race leader pitted this lap. That turns the race lead over to Mr. Levi McIntire, who a couple of weeks ago was looking like he was going to win the race at Charlotte Roval. But due to a pit road problem, that was not the case. There are no points for leading laps in this race, so the only thing that Levi McIntire is gaining out of being out in front is being in clean air and being able to approach these corners the way he wants to. It'll be interesting to see if pit road plays a factor into how drivers come out after the pit stop cycle around as well, because Gardner pitted from the lead, Shelton pitted from 2nd. So we'll have to see where those two are in relation to each other when the pit stop cycle around. Will Shelton gain any ground on Gardner? Will Gardner gain any ground on Shelton? Or Levi McIntire staying a little bit longer, will he gain ground on both of them? See if Levi is going to pit this time around. And nope, he's staying out. Ryan Acosta is staying out. Nobody from the top 5 coming to pit road this lap. Wade Brummer's going to pit though. That's from 9th place. See this side-by-side battle here. Wow, M McIntire, I don't think he lifted over that jump. That was a long pole vault jump for M McIntire. He's going to not only get by Ryan Brommer, but he also passed Jordan Lopez. Still, we are into our 9th race, and 2 drivers are yet to score points this season, Alexander Rowe and M McIntire. We saw Rowe come to pit road from inside the top 10. I think he was 6th when he pitted. Right now, M McIntire up inside the top 10. Let's see if both those drivers can get their first points of the season. Zach Rogers was in that boat before he ended up finishing 10th a couple of weeks ago at the Charlotte Roval. How far can these drivers go on fuel? Some of these guys might have been short pitting. Right now, McIntire might be going as far as he is possibly able. And the reason I'm asking is because I want to see just exactly what the fuel window is in correlation with the amount of time that has passed, and see if we would end up having to see drivers on pit road again in the closing stages of this race when we start getting down to 5, 4, 3 minutes left in the session. And McIntire's going to come in. Ryan Acosta's going to stay out. Well, right now we're seeing drivers pitting with about 8 laps in, maybe 10 laps in, as Alexander Rowe's got front end damage on his race car, as I just saw him on pit road in the 49. So that's a tough break for him. He was inside the top 10 when he pitted. Ryan Acosta got off course a little bit there. And so that means that Alexander Rowe looks like will not be scoring his first points of the season here today at Island Rally. So let's say 8 to 10 laps in, we're seeing most of our drivers hitting pit road. And we are just now past the halfway point. So if I'm looking at drivers like Gardner and Shelton, drivers that came to pit road a little bit earlier, they might be in danger of having to pit before we get to the final lap of this race. Levi McIntire, I think, came to pit road just around the halfway point, and we're seeing drivers like Ryan Acosta, Dylan Poteet, J Shelly. They're being able to make it a little bit further, so I think they might be able to just make it on one pit stop. Derek Hamill in that boat, as well as M McIntire, so I think these guys are in good shape, at least for right now, with the fact they've been able to make it this far on fuel. Ryan Brommer right now would be in 7th, Lopez in 8th, Garcia is in 9th, and right now Cole Deaver would currently complete your top 10. Smith there in 11th place. That's a driver who needs a good run, as we got some more drivers on pit road. Lopez is in, D Hamill is in, D Poteet from second is in, and the race leader R Acosta is in. That turns the race lead over to the 72 of J Shelly. Right now he is battling with Sebastian Cucalon, who I think is a lap down, but I'm not 100% certain. Yep, he is a lap down. Let's actually see if there's anybody out of the race. Oh, we do have a couple of drivers out of the race. Anderson, Zach Rogers, and Benny Watson, who we saw all of them on pit road in the early stages. Sebastian Cucalon is now off the lead lap. Alexander Rowe just took his car back into the garage area. And 2 laps down is the 4 of B Allan. So 4 drivers are out of the race at this point. And it's going to be very interesting to see about like J Shelly, where he's going to cycle out, where D Poteet's going to cycle out. We saw that he was on pit road along with R Acosta. Shelton had pitted much earlier, so did Levi McIntire, so did J Gardner. So once all these drivers do hit pit road and it cycles around, who is going to be the leader of the race? Let's actually drop back so we can find that. Well, actually, let's find out if Shelly's pitting. Yep, Shelly's pitting. M McIntire, he's going to pit. R Brommer's in. Garcia's in. Deaver's going to stay out another lap as Patrick Smith comes to pit road. So we're going to just drop back here and try and find J Gardner and a number of others we know that have pitted. And right now it looks like R Acosta would be the one that would cycle around with the race lead. He's out ahead of J Gardner. Poteet looks like he would cycle to third. Jefferson would actually look like cycle to fourth, with Shelton fifth. Dollerton 6th, Lopez 7th, Hamill 8th, Carson Gum is a lap down, so 9th would be Levi McIntire and Matthew Rodriguez, I believe. No, Juan Garcia would be 10th, but bear in mind that is not counting where these other drivers might cycle around that are just now coming to pit road or still have to hit pit road. I think the last car that needs to pit, actually, there's a couple of cars that still need to pit. Quentin Moore, he still needs to pit. Z Winkle does, and so does Cole Deaver. So those 3 drivers are the last drivers we're waiting on to hit pit road before everyone will have come to pit lane. As I said, it looks like it's right now R Acosta who would cycle around as the race leader, as he is about 1.4 seconds ahead of J Gardner, who was the leader when all of these cycle of pit stops began, and Deaver is coming in this time. Z Winkle, who right now unofficially would be second, is he going to pit this lap? Yes, he is. Last driver we're waiting on is Quentin Moore in the 94, who unofficially would be running in third. When he comes to pit road, that should turn the race lead over to the 90 of R Acosta. And he is indeed coming to pit road. So here is Acosta. He should cycle around as the race leader now. Let's see what the interval is between him and J Gardner. It's about 1.4 the last time, and now it's about almost 2 seconds. J Gardner losing ground to R Acosta. And remember, R Acosta pitted much later than J Gardner did, so if Gardner is close on fuel, then R Acosta would not be. J Shelly also pitted late. He now would cycle around to third. M McIntire right now would be fourth. D Poteet in fifth. R Brommer would be 6th. J Jefferson 7th. 8th would be C Dollerton. 9th place would be Patrick Smith. And right now Cole Deaver would still be in the 10th spot. He's got A Garcia behind him trying to get that position. So right now, based off what I'm seeing, the drivers that really could benefit here today from their finishing results and still be mathematically eligible for the championship would be J Gardner, R Acosta. I don't know if J Shelly would or not. He'd gain what? 18 points, and he came into this race 43 points out, so he would be right on the cusp of 25 points. I think he needs to get up there and get second from J Gardner. to really have a shot. Aside from that, everybody else looks like they would stay about status quo with where they're running. I mean, Wade Brummer, Zoerlein, Hamill, Collins, Turner, McIntire. None of them are up inside the top 10 right now. We did see Derek Hamill almost into the top 10. It looked like he was going to cycle in the top 10, but he's not there now. Where did he go? There he is. Last time by, scored in 14th. McIntire back in 15th. Shelton back in 16th. There's Dylan Young, who had a long shot to maybe get mathematically eligible for the championship. He's back in 18th. So they need something to happen here. The big problem for them, well, at least for Shelton and McIntire, is they might not yet be good to go on fuel. Right now, Ryan Acosta is running away with this. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Ryan Acosta was actually a really strong contender back at a track somewhat similar to this that was a dirt-covered road course. I'm thinking, of course, of Nürburgring. He did not win that race, though. Dylan Young did, so maybe trying to get a little bit of redemption here at a dirt rally course track. Watching Johnny Gardner here because I think the best battle on track is going to be for second rather than for the race lead. As we are closing in into the final minutes of this race. Brooke Allen is, what, 4 laps down, 5 laps down, and she's faster, it seems, than Johnny Gardner, who now is over 5 seconds back from the race leader, Ryan Acosta. James Shelly starting to close in. I think Shelly's a little bit faster. Last time by, Johnny Gardner ran a 129.087. Shelly ran a 128.899. So yeah, he is much faster than Johnny Gardner. Problem for Shelly is he's got almost 6 seconds to make up on race leader Ryan Acosta, plus he has to pass Johnny Gardner and Brooke Allen in the process to do it. He ran that corner a little bit wide, as did Johnny Gardner. I think he needs a little bit of help from Ryan Acosta. I think he needs Acosta to make a mistake if he's going to get up there and even have a shot at making this a battle for the win. Shelly, as I said, I think he needs to get by Johnny Gardner for second to make himself eligible for the championship end next week. I think Gardner, whether he finishes second or third, I think he will be mathematically eligible for the championship. But for Shelly, it's a difference between having 18 points in this race and having 22 points in this race. And he's going to get alongside of Johnny Gardner. This is a very important pass for James Shelly. About Matt McIntire, though, great run here today, 4th position for the 25. He was one of those drivers that came down pit road late, so he will probably be good to go on fuel before the conclusion of this race. Going to score his first points of the season, and it looks like it will be as many as 14 points here today. If he continues to run where he is, he might get more if he gets up there and passes Gardner or Shelly. Ryan Brommer, last time we really saw him at the front in any race was when he was battling Chris Dollerton for the race win back at the Dakar opening stage. We know how that ended. Speaking of Dollerton, he's back there in 6th. A great run for him. Cole Deaver on those fresh tires. He was back in 10th, I think, when the pit stop cycled around. He's worked his way up to 7th, and as soon as I say that, he runs the corner wide. But he was able to keep it back on the track pretty quickly. Holds off Jordan Lopez, at least for now. Lopez there in 8th. Matthew Rodriguez currently in 9th. And right now 10th is Derek Hamill. So Hamill's going to get at least 1 point, at least where he's scored right now in this race. That would currently put him 6 points back from Wade Brummer. James Shelly, you can see he's gapped Johnny Gardner. Brooke Allen came to pit roads, and Ryan Acosta's having to deal with a slower car of Jonathan Zoerlein as Sebastian Cucalon's on pit road. So let's see if Shelly closes up the gap at all here with a little more than 4 minutes to go. Last time by, it was a little less than 7 seconds. He gained maybe 1 or 2 tenths, but not much. Ryan Acosta, a nice pass on Jonathan Zoerlein, putting more traffic between himself and the 72. Ryan Brommer made the pass on Matt McIntire. Where'd Johnny Gardner go? Wow, he faded. Where in the world is the... Did Gardner wreck or did Gardner pit? Where the heck did he go? Oh, Jesse Turner's on pit road. Quentin Moore's on pit road. Wade Brummer had to pit. I don't see Gardner. Wait, is that Gardner coming off pit road? That is Gardner coming off pit road, along with Lopez. Oh, okay, so I think this might be drivers having to make that final pit stop I was talking about. Remember we said that Gardner, I thought with him pitting as early as he did, he was going to probably have to pit again. This is the pit stop I'm talking about. And this is interesting because there's 3 minutes left. And that now puts a question mark on a couple of these other drivers up here. Trying to remember when Ryan Acosta came into pit road in accordance with J Shelly. Did they come in the same lap, or did they come in... I think Ryan Acosta came in a lap earlier, and now Ryan Brommer has to pit from the 3rd position. So it looks like this could very well be a fuel strategy race. Ryan Acosta, I think, pitted 1 lap earlier than Shelly did. So if Acosta has to pit here in the closing stages, James Shelly might take this win. That now moves Matt McIntire into 3rd, who I'm pretty certain was one of the drivers that stayed out the longest as well. So I think he might be in good shape. Cole Deaver, we know he stayed out the longest of everybody. Right now he is in 4th. Maybe this might cycle around to him. Derek Hamill would now be in 5th. Adam Garcia in 6th. Dylan Young would now be in 7th. 8th place would be T Wright, and Austin LaPlante right now would complete your top 10. But it all comes down to who still can make it. Remember, we got that 1 extra lap as well. When zeros go on the clock, next time by us the white flag lap, and we have 1 more lap. So that's going to play a factor into fuel, I think, as well. It looks like when Ryan Acosta gets around to the line, we will probably be at 2 laps to go. Average lap time has been about 1:27, 1:28. Ryan Acosta actually just ran his fastest lap of the race last time by, so he's obviously not saving fuel. He's staying out. Is it going to be about 1:27 when he hits the line? Yep, when he hit the line, 1:26, 1:25 on the clock. And so I think that this is 2 to go. Did any of our top drivers have to hit pit road this lap? James Shelly did, from 2nd place. Shelly had to hit pit road, and that's not going to help him. It looked like he was in line to maybe put himself in position to be in the hunt for the championship next week, and unless a lot of drivers run out of fuel here on this lap or have to come to pit road, Shelly could be in trouble in that regard. Ryan Acosta runs way wide through that corner. Now the driver he has to worry about is the 25 of Matt McIntire, who is a long ways back, almost 10 seconds back from him. I still think this guy right here might be who we have to watch out for. I think Deaver might have the fuel to make it. McIntire might as well. If Shelly had to hit pit road, I almost wonder if Ryan Acosta is going to have to hit pit road this time. Because I think he pitted a lap earlier than Shelly did on the last round of pit stops. If Ryan Acosta wins, Ryan Acosta is going to be only 1 point back from Wade Brummer for the points lead heading into next week. But it all comes down to if he has to pit this time, because there will be zeros on the clock before he hits the start-finish line, and he's coming to pit road. Ryan Acosta has to pit, zeros on the clock. No leader has hit the line yet. Is Matt McIntire going to stay out? He is. Matt McIntire trying to score his first points of the season, and it looks like it's going to be a race win that he's going to score his first points with. The white flag was just displayed for him. Cole Deaver, he is in 2nd. Derek Hamill now up to 3rd. So he's in line to take the points lead over heading into next week. 4th place right now would be Adam Garcia. 5th would be T Wright. 6th would be Z Winkle. 7th, Mitchell Collins all of a sudden up in the top 10. 8th place would be Austin LaPlante. 9th, looks like would be Ryan Acosta. Nope, just lost the spot to Patrick Smith. And it looks like Ryan Acosta would come out in 10th. And it would be a battle between him and Matthew Rodriguez for that final spot. So now here's the big question. Matt McIntire out in front. If he has to come to pit road on this lap coming to the checkered flag, is his pit stall before or after the start-finish line. If it's before the start-finish line, then J Deaver could come around and steal the win away. If it's after, M McIntire might have enough of a gap. He's got about 8.5 seconds back to J Deaver that he could cross the line before Deaver gets there. Or he could just stay out and not even worry about it. Let's see if he does. Coming to the checkers, does he stay out? Yes, he does. M McIntire is going to take this win. His first points of the season will be 30 big ones here today at Island Rally. J Deaver is going to bring it home in second place. Derek Hamill's going to finish in third, so I think that's going to be enough for him to take the points lead into the finale. Adam Garcia will get fourth. Wright will be fifth. Winkle's going to cross in sixth. Collins going to get some bonus points there in seventh as LaPlante had to pit. He was in eighth. He's got to cross the line, and here comes Patrick Smith trying to take eighth place away from LaPlante. Will he get it? Yes, he will. So Patrick Smith's going to get eighth. Who's going to get ninth? Looks like it might be R Acosta. He's going to beat LaPlante to the line. It'll be Acosta for ninth. And Matthew Rodriguez is going to complete the top 10. There are only really 3 names I see that finished up here towards the front that are really going to, I think, be a factor into what the point standings look like. Derek Hamill came in 7 points back. He's going to have a pretty good points lead now, I think, heading into the season finale. Mitchell Collins came in 9 points back from the points lead, and he's going to finish in 7th. So he's going to get 6 points here today. As I'm going to wait until they get, there we go. Pause it right there, because that's what our finishing results will look like. So he's going to gain 6 points, so he would be 3 points back from J Brummer. But I don't know how far he'd be back from Derek Hamill, because bear in mind, not only did Derek Hamill finish third, but he also got 3 stage race bonus points as well. So he would have gotten 18 points here today. And how far back was he? 7 points. He'd have 11 points at least over J Brummer, so that'd be about 13 points over Mitchell Collins. And the other driver that I saw that might make some headway is Adam Garcia. He was 25 points back coming into this race. And finishing in 4th, he would get 12 points. He'd be 13 points back from J Brummer, so he'd be roughly, I think, 24 points back from the new points leader, Derek Hamill. So right now, if my calculations are indeed correct, I think the drivers that mathematically will have a shot for the championship heading into next week's race would be Derek Hamill, J Brummer, Jonathan Zoerlein, Mitchell Collins, Jesse Turner, Levi McIntire, Adam Garcia, potentially R Acosta. And I believe that would be it. I don't think anybody else mathematically would be within the 25-point range to battle for the championship. I mean, the possibility for Carson Gum kind of slim to none because he was 25 points coming in and he didn't finish up inside the top 10. So I really think it's going to be Hamill, Brummer, Zoerlein, Collins, Turner, McIntire, Garcia, and then a question mark about R Acosta, with him finishing in 9th place and picking up at least a little bit of points. But he was 31 points back coming into this race, so he might actually be out. So it could be a 8-driver fight next week in the finale, but I think it's going to only be a 7-driver fight at Baja Rally. But how about M McIntire? Gets his first points of the season, and it comes with a victory here today at Island Rally. J Deaver brings it home in 2nd. Derek Hamill, who's going to take the points lead over now with a 3rd-place run. Adam Garcia keeps himself in the championship hunt with a 4th-place finish. How about the teammates there out of Abu Dhabi Racing? T Wright 5th, Z Winkle 6th. Then we mentioned Mitchell Collins in 7th. Patrick Smith, for the first time in about 3 weeks, does not DNF. He'll get 8th. R Acosta brings it home in 9th. And Matthew Rodriguez will finish the day out inside of the top 10. Those are the only drivers that get points here today. Look at some of these drivers down here that look like they were en route to a good finish, maybe even a win. J Shelly's going to have to settle for 13th. J Gardner's going to have to settle for 15th place. Those were a couple of drivers that were up at the front of the field at one point of this race, and it was looking, like I said, like they might end up taking the victory. And you look on down through the drivers that finished on the lead lap. Sebastian Cucalon finished, Juan Garcia finished just ahead of M McIntire in this race. Cucalon, Poteet, Shelton, B Allan, Jesse Turner, they all finished off the lead lap. K Mathews finished out of the race late in this one. Levi McIntire also out of the race, along with Diego Yepez. Alexander Rowe, Benny Watson, Zach Rogers, and Julius Anderson also finished in the garage area before the conclusion of today's race. So that's going to do it here today from Island Rally. Matt McIntire with the victory. And it sets up who's going to be in the hunt for the championship next week at Baja Rally. You're not going to want to miss that. As I stated, I think it's going to be 7 drivers that are going to be in the hunt for that championship. Hamill, Brummer, Zoerlein, Collins, Turner, McIntire, and Garcia. But we're going to have to wait and see if that's the case because we've shown you full finish results, and these are your point standings heading next week. The drivers highlighted in yellow are within the 25-point threshold and mathematically would have a shot at the championship next week. If they are at 25 points, they are basically in a must-win situation, and they need all other competitors to not finish in the top 10 and get any points whatsoever. But that is going to do it here today from Island Rally. Hope you guys enjoyed today's race. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, become part of the crew today, and we will see you guys next week for the season finale for the Reese's Rally Car Series at Baja Rally. Till then, I'm out.